What is the Gulf Stream? The Gulf Stream is a warm water current that starts moving upwards from the Gulf of Mexico up to the Atlantic Ocean and comes back to its original start. The Gulf Stream is based off several other streams: the Florida Current, the Gulf Stream itself, and the eastern extension, the North Atlantic Drift.
The flow of the Gulf Stream is heavily dependent on the salinity and temperature of the water. Water is heated around the Gulf of Mexico by the sun. This results in the water moving to the North Atlantic, where the water is then cooled. Having said this, temperature is not the only reason why the Gulf Stream actually works. Now, it's also dependent on salinity and density. The area where the highest salinity is near the Arctic, where there are many icebergs. When the water there freezes, the salt is left behind. As the salt water there is denser and colder, it slows down the flow of the water and causes it to sink. Whilst in areas with less salinity, the current speeds up. This and the fact that the warmer water rises due to molecules moving faster and it being less dense than salt water, movement is created, eventually forming something similar to a conveyor belt.
The warm water that comes from the North Atlantic Drift are the main causes for moderating the climate of Western Europe, so winters are less cold than would otherwise be expected at this altitude. If the North Atlantic Drift didn't exist, the UK and other places in Europe that are in the same latitude would be as cold as Canada. For example, with the Gulf Stream's steady stream of hot water, the British Isles winters are estimated to be more than 5 centigrades cooler, bringing the average December temperature in London to about 2 centigrades.
What would happen if the Gulf Stream ceased to operate? If the Gulf Stream all of a sudden stopped, no heat would be circulated around the Atlantic Ocean. This would result in countries like Denmark and England having weather comparable to regions in Canada and Serbia. Citizens of countries like Denmark and England, which are countries notorious for constant overcast, may appreciate some global warming and climate diversity, but if the Gulf Stream had stopped, the results would be beyond problematic.
So, if the temperature rises due to global warming, that will result in ice melting and the water levels rising. Eventually, the albedo will go down as a result of this, and temperature will just continue rising, which obviously won't be good for anyone.